Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, and of course the Portugal Club, where we will go for question 99. I've had an idea about what we might do when the Portuguese citizenship test questions have come to their century conclusion. Yes, 100 questions, helping you to prepare for a possible citizenship test for Portuguese citizenship. I hope it's helped. If not, clarify your position on Portuguese citizenship, then at least giving you a little bit of fun or preparation for that test should it ever come into legislation. And if none of that, then hopefully just to help you get a little bit more educated about Portuguese culture, which we, of course, attempt to do every weekday morning from 8 till 9 on the Good Morning Portugal show, where this morning we'll be talking about a new Portuguese rice vinegar. I know some of you like to cook with vinegar, and you might like to exchange some tips about that. Andrew Johnson's joining us this morning from Relax, Change, Create, a school community that happens to be based in Portugal. Mel's joining us at around 8:40 this morning with a Melbeing Wellbeing update. What's going on with her simply living on the land, new kitchen, and yeah, going back to the whole idea of citizenship. How's Mel getting on with that? So the process which she's talked about with us before now, and the increasing importance, having seen what's going on with Cindy Vine, somebody who's not a million miles away from our community and known by a few of you. Bit of a shocker, Cindy giving her marching orders. So let's keep an eye on that situation. Maybe we'll chat to Cindy on the show. We spoke to her a long, long time ago. I think, as I recall, the conversation with Cindy feels like hundreds of years ago in very different times here for foreigners in Portugal, was how she got to be here. And she was looking for somewhere to live and just announced to her kids, by the way, I found somewhere I want to live. I think they wanted her to live with them. And maybe that's what's happening ultimately. But she said, no, I'm going to Portugal, actually. And just sprung it on them and has had the most amazing time. Maybe you've seen her videos and the little piggies that she looks after and raises in central Portugal. And she's had her rejection from the government and marching orders. So we might talk to her about that. But that's certainly left a bit of a repercussion for others. And my idea for after the Portuguese citizenship test questions, a feature for each day will be a Portuguese essential, which of course you need to dot those I's, cross those T's to make sure that everything's absolutely okay with your status, and just take all the stress and as difficulty as much as possible out of life. And I'll be helping you to do that with facts, hacks, and approaching it in an upbeat and fun way. That sort of thing, you know, the ladding, the gladding, and the adding. The Vamos Bem group have got a meeting coming up in Lisbon. Do you know, I might have left this a little bit too late, but there is a meeting that's all about dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And if you want to know more about that, that's the event in Lisbon. Oh, actually, it's tonight. If you've still got time to go, the Living, Aging and Dying Well event in Lisbon, that's from 6 till 9 this evening at the Junta de Freguesia do Arairo. Arairo. That is one of the hardest Portuguese neighborhoods to pronounce, I would say. Areeiro. Wow. Sounds like a free song from the 80s. Arairo. I remember hearing that on the train because I think my train used to roll through there when I was getting the train to work in town in Lisbon. My goodness, that seems like another lifetime as well. At next door to the LG factory on those Fartagos trains coming across the water. So yeah, tonight between 6 and 9, you may still be able to register for that. In fact, I will put the link to do so into the chat, and you may be able to still register and go along tonight. And it's Emily and Joy Goldman, their work. And I think at least one of them will be there this evening. Quite an important event in Lisbon if that's something you want to do. and you want to work with other people to do so, they are a great company. Well, not a company, an organization. They're not a company, they are an organization. When will I be sending out your passports? Well, I need to check your papers. I never thought I'd be saying that. Sorry, I need to mark your papers to make sure you've passed. How well did you do? Let's go to that in just a minute. A Bon Dia Alegria Gumpers from the T-Duck. Did I mention the toilet troubles? We've got snow in the Algarve as well, which we might take a look at before Andrew and Mel join us. A Moreno vinegar, a rice vinegar, made here in Portugal. I think it's made here in Portugal. I'm pretty sure it is. You grow rice in Portugal, you know. And snow in Portugal and toilet troubles before the arrival of Andrew and Mel, with a bit of well-being and Melbeing this morning. There is somebody in our community who I think has a very technological lavatory. Let me put it like that. Oh, and if you're wondering what the picture is behind me, we went for a walk along hoping to go for a walk up to the lighthouse at San Martino de Porto. And I don't know if it's the recent rains, but you're not allowed up there anymore, which was a little bit of a shocker. You could get fined between 30 and 300 euros for going beyond that sign. So we didn't. Nice law-abiding children. The parents were up for it. Allegedly, but the children said, no, we don't do things like that. Good on you, kids. Who are you talking to? Talk of passports and papers. Who are you talking to? What passport? Don't panic, Matty. It was just a joke. Good morning, everyone. I think I distracted myself. Don't worry about these distractions. The development of a AI co-host for this show is going well. Oh, thanks, Alan. You've sent me some photos. That's cool. Snow in Massachusetts. Enjoy your great weather. Okay, yeah, there we go. As soon as I start moaning about the weather in Portugal, I'm sent a picture from somewhere else where it's far worse. Massachusetts, snow coming to a screen near you in just a moment, actually. So thank you for that, Alan. It looks cold. It looks very cold over there. Shall I stop moaning now? And actually, the reported snow in the Algarve does look a lot like sleet, I have to say. I'm not convinced. I wonder if you will be when I show you that. Yeah, there were two things, weren't there? Being distracted and technological lavatories. I think somebody in our community has one of those lavs that does the wiping and the drying and maybe even deodorizing for you. Japanese technology. If the company that makes those, or one of the companies that makes those sorts of things, launches with their current name, it's going to cause problems in Portugal. Can you guess what it is yet? And yes, snow in Portugal, as well as Massachusetts. Thank you. This is Alan's picture from Hands on the Wheel, please. I'm guessing your passenger went across and took that photo there, Alan. But yeah, that does look really cold. It does look like the roads very well attended to, though, when it snows in Massachusetts. That looks really pretty. If I show that to my kids, they'll want to fly out and see that. I don't think they will be very impressed with the snow in the Algarve, however. Oh, we didn't show you Matty's snake, did we? We nearly did. But there's Matty's. Is that a horseshoe whip snake there, Matty, that you found basking in your garden? That's how I feel at the moment, actually. The slightest a bit of sunshine, I'm outside, coiled up, soaking it up, warming up the cold blood that has been developed over the winter period. Yeah. And before I get rid of it, yes, my bag of citrus, the Portuguese bag of citrus, that if you haven't been given a bag of oranges or citrus fruits in Portugal, something is wrong. I would say that's one of the unofficial signs of citizenship. Oh, and this yesterday was superb. If you run a business in Portugal, you're like a sole trader or a small business, this is great. Well done, Lisa. Thank you very much, Lisa Boysen, for putting this on. What a talented, multi-talented, with many fingers in many pies is Lisa, who has an amazing group of friends, some of whom I met yesterday on this call. It's great to be with you all. And I've got a link for that if you want to join that group as well, in-person and online networking events. It's definitely filling a hole in a niche in the whole ecosystem of how businesses operate. So great job, Lisa, and great to meet Mario, who's helping me, to bring me back to one of the earlier threads that I started and then got distracted during. And my AI co-host is being developed as we speak. Gumpy prepare for Gumpy, who I think might be able to keep me in order. And let's see. It'll be a team effort, I think. But I've got a Gumpy, the AI co-host, being developed as we speak, thanks to Mario. It was an idea I had a couple of weeks ago, and then I met somebody who can make it happen very easily yesterday. And I was tinkering with it last night. I was all up for having a go with Gumpy this morning, co-hosting the show. Seriously, this is not April the 1st. And I don't suppose I'm the first kind of radio host, breakfast show host to think about having an AI co-host. But we're going to do it here. I imagine I'm the first in Portugal because we have a tie. Who doesn't like a nice little niche first thing in the morning? And we are one of those for sure, are we not? And Gumpy, she's got quite the sense of humor. Yeah, she's a female co-host. And she's been selected from the billions of permutations, of course, that you can glean from the internet and AI, of course, AI technology. And she'll be joining us soon. She's in development. She's being trained as we speak. So stand by for Gumpy and the voice of Gumpy. I'm sure there'll be some visuals at some point as well. But Gumpy, the co-host, is coming this way to Good Morning Portugal. Andrew, yes, affirmative from Andrew. Andrew joining us soon. Yes, it is a horseshoe whip snake, and she was out in the sun the last 3 days. How do you know she's a female? Is that like positive thinking? You'd like her to be female, or you had a positive idea that she was there? There she is. Isn't she lovely? Looks like a snake salad. In that picture. Did you eat those dandelions? I guess you've got to give them a wash if you've picked them near where the snake's been living. Marcelo Rebelo de Souza, how long before people miss you in your role? The next vote confirmed by Antonio F. Thanks, Antonio, for your work over at the Portugal Club, where we'll go in a moment to do that Portuguese citizenship test question 99. Yeah, a few more days. Actually, the 8th of February, that's a good 3 weeks away, is it not? So that's the next vote to decide whether we lean left or far right here in Portugal. And you may have seen my conversation that I had with, depends on which way you're looking at it, doesn't it? I imagine some people imagine the socialist candidate to be far left as well. Anything's possible now. And that contest on the 8th. A cat has just jumped onto the table where there's a camera. Do you know what? Can someone come and get this cat? The most mischievous cat of all. Come and sit. If you're going to be here, come and sit down and stop peeing about. Look, you can see his tail there. Oh, and you're wet as well. Thank you very much. Come and get warm and stay still in here and do not walk. Do you want to see him? Look here. This is, which one? Oh, Marshall. Look, Marshall. Are you going to, you're going on my shoulder now. Okay. Behave yourself, though. Get still, take it easy, start purring, and go to sleep, okay, like the nice snake in the picture. Right, where was I before I got distracted? Yeah, 8th of February, we'll decide who the next president is between Seguro and Andre Ventura. And I had what I thought was a pretty good chat with Vitor Costa yesterday that you might want to take a look at. And a couple of shorts have been extracted from that conversation yesterday. Who else is here this morning? Nina, thank you for your pictures as well. Just sent you a pic of our great weather. That was Alan. Love Tuesdays in the office. I get my work-based Portuguese lesson number 1 on. Hopefully your supervisor isn't watching this as well. Great teacher too. Who is have you got a Portuguese barista who serves you the coffee and teaches you a bit of Portuguese? I wonder. Anyone in the UK see the aurora last night? Seen some incredible pictures. Oh, okay. That sounds interesting. Not the ones of the Greenlanders with their special Aurora Borealis light show for Donald. I don't think you're talking about that, are you? Yes, pretty, but I'm sure the cold would send them right back to the alcohol. Bon dia, Campos. Hi, Mike. Thank you very much for your continued support. Thank you very much indeed. Sent you some pics of the sunrise and citrus. Sunrise and citrus. That's got to be a chapter. That's a nice shot of the cat's testicles, isn't it, for you this morning? Look, just can you please... the cat's testicles, that sounds like a superlative if ever I heard one, but no, an actual biological fact live here on the on the unplugged no, hopefully not unplugged, but unrecorded and live show that is where we never quite know what's going to happen, especially when a very naughty and huge cat, this cat, I remember him when he was a kitten. And now he's the biggest of the 3 kittens that came that got rescued and came to stay with us. He's naughty. He's huge. let's see what happens in the next 45 minutes with his company here. This is that's Marshall, everybody. Are you going to behave yourself? Of course you're not. I have no idea how to identify a snake's gender from meters away. Okay. Oh, do you just resort to a she? Is that the German way? If in doubt, say she. Well, we'll come back to your pictures. Thank you very much, Henry and Nina. Thanks, Nina. I think it's Nina who sent me the pictures this morning. And before we forget, then let's go to the Portuguese citizenship question 99. I think I distracted myself when I was about to say what would be the new. No, I did say, didn't I? Portuguese essentials. Okay, we're going to start listing those and do them day by day. To give you a clue of how it's going to go, the NIF number is going to be the first such thing we talk about. So those sorts of things, the I's that need dotting, the T's that need crossing, the things that you need. The easiest way to get them, and that's not to say it is easy to get any of these things, but the easiest way, the hacks and the hive mind of the community helping with how to make sure you've not only got the right things, numbers, paperwork, but how to make sure it stays current, how to get it if you're in need, what people's experiences are, etc., etc. And we have we'll soon have been doing the Good Morning Portugal show for 6 years. And I think in that time, we'd be pretty dumb if we hadn't gathered a little bit of intel together, and certainly some experience. Hopefully, it's not 1 year repeated 6 times. Oh, he's found my warm footrest. I've innovated a new footrest this morning, and the cat's found it. They just know how to get to warmth, don't they? And having put my foot onto it, I got a little bit of a claw back. Nothing too serious, nothing to worry about. Yeah, so that's what will follow. But I don't want to be talking ill of the citizenship test and sort of unceremoniously talking about its absence before we've even finished it. So question 99, and there it is on the screen for you. Which festival is celebrated with leeks and or plastic hammers in Porto? Safe to say that more recently, it's the plastic hammers and not the leeks that are in use during, is it A, the Festas de São João, the Romaria de São Pedro, or the Feira de São Mateus. I'm talking of holy saints. It is Saint Sebastian Day. That's how I should have opened up the show this morning, with a thank you. Oh, who's voted? Is that Michael's in already? Good morning to you, Michael. I'm going to vote for that one as well. So which festival is celebrated with leeks? Yes, not as in the water penetration, or the letting of water. Leeks as in the vegetable, the great Welsh vegetable. I've been making a leek and potato soup by popular demand here in the homestead. Maybe we'll have rice vinegar in that. I'll talk about that in a bit as well. Which festival is celebrated with leeks and or plastic hammers? Because that is a change, an evolution in front of our very eyes. Traditionalists will be taking along a leek. Others will be taking along plastic hammers and boshing each other on the head at a certain time in Porto. Which is it, though? Which festa? Is it the Festa de São João de Romaria de São Pedro, or the Feira de São Mateus? Saint Matty moves among us this morning. So 2 votes there. Yeah, and if I go to the Portugal Club, which you can see there, it is we have signified that it is the day of Saint Sebastian today. And if you click on that, you go to the classroom. Thank you. There's your illustration there, Matty, as well, that we've used. And if you go to the classroom through the link, among the Portugal Who's Who that features Bordalo II, Pope Damasus, Luís de Camões, Antonio Guterres, King Pedro the Fifth, lots of the DJ, not the rapping reverend, but the DJ who played for the Pope when he came here, Father Guillaume, and of course San Sebastian, whose day it is today. San Sebastian being honoured here in Portugal on the 20th. Some of the celebrations, of course, will have happened over the last weekend and this coming weekend. And products and brands. I've got a new one for you this morning. 8,000 kicks, hemp trainers and products. It was Kate, wasn't it, who gives us the Bygrave bonus in the morning, and very good they are too. Bit of meme fun in the Portugal Club. I'm going to add here, it might be a separate section, but we've definitely got more than 8,000 kicks. Not that 8,000 kicks aren't awesome. I have my wallet here, made by them. They are a great company, and we celebrate at the Portugal Club other great companies as well. So it's Saint Sebastian's Day today. I think there was something else I wanted to tell you about over there at the Portugal Club. Oh, yeah, it was yesterday's. Oh, thank you. Lovely pictures there. If you can, and if you want to share your pictures, if they're sent to me on 913-590-303, they tend to come in and go. If you want to immortalize them, do what Michael's done. I haven't seen this yet this morning, but I think there's been some beautiful sunrises all over Portugal. This isn't the first I've seen this morning. Well, look at that beauty there in central Portugal this morning. That's beautiful. And I think maybe Nina will add yours to this thread. So if we don't get to show them this morning, that's a place to go. If I copy the link, Andrew's getting ready to join us. He's a fellow schooler. I think both of us will talk to him about school, because I don't meet many other schoolers. Mrs. M in this household runs her astrology group on school, and of course our Portugal Club is based there. And we'll check in with Andrew about his experience of it. I think it's an amazing community platform. But more importantly, and I'll show you this before he joins us. He's on there with his wonderful group as well, Relax, Change and Create. So the link's in there. If you want to share with us your sunrises, please do that, and they will be immortalized over at the Portugal Club. Thought for the day then, before Andrew joins us. This is the sort of thing that you'll see as part of his work there. Although I think Andrew has an amazing background in this whole world of helping people to relax, change and create. There's your thought for the day there. How about that? You notice. Isn't that beautiful as well? Nice work there, Andrew. Let's just soak that up for a moment, shall we? I'm enjoying this. Is he doing some binaural beats in the ear rolls? This is suddenly very relaxing. Okay, let's give him a nice big round of applause. Sorry if that was a bit clunky there. And bring him onto the stage. Andrew Johnson, everybody. Sorry, Andrew. We went from... Oh, you're not hearing us. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, definitely can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Andrew, I will send you a message. Okay. This happens from time to time, doesn't it? Okay. I'm going to send him a message in the private chat. Hi, Andrew. What can we say? Keep trying. Keep trying. Keep trying your settings. Okay. Bear with. Okay. And we'll have a little bit of a look at... we'll have a look at his club over there, the Relax, Change and Create, of which I am now a member, and you can be too. I'll give you the link for that. It's a free school group, and let me just copy that link. The idea, if I bring it onto the screen as well, I could hear you until you went full screen. Okay, well, we'll try you again in just a moment there, Andrew. Live fun here on the Portugal Club. Let's just see. What I'll do, Andrew. Hi. Can you hear me now?
No, I've got no sound.
He's got no sound. I think Andrew is Scottish.
Everything's working here, but
hearing a lovely Scottish.
I'll go back out and try again.
All right, mate. Okay, he's going to do that. We could hear him, couldn't we? So there we go. Relax, Change, Create. As a thought for the day, there's a live meditation every day as well over there on school. The idea is that it's a supportive meditation space with live guided sessions, simple practices and tools to relax, change old patterns and create a better life. How's that for an offer as a free community over there on school? Right, let's try that. Can you hear us now, Andrew?
I can. Thanks, Carol.
It happens sometimes. It happens. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you.
How are you? I like your background. Very good.
It's a real one. And we went for a walk up on the cliffs around us here in San Martino, and there's a new sign up there urging us not to go any further. Otherwise, we may face a fine of between 30 and 300 euros. So we turn back.
Oh, well, there we go.
And you're in Portugal as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we're just in the Algarve.
How wonderful. How wonderful.
Yeah, it's lovely.
How long have you been there? And how did you get to be in Portugal?
We've been here 1 year. We were in Spain for 2 years before that, and really like Spain, but we went on a road trip maybe a year and a bit ago, and we went through Spain and just decided to keep going. We ended up in the Algarve and
went through Spain, kept going. Yeah,
kept going. And we get into the Algarve, and both of us, my wife and I, just looked about and thought, okay, this feels good.
Yeah.
This feels good.
Yes.
And we love it. we've just, as I say, we've been here 1 year, so we're just going into our second year now.
Wow. Okay, well, it's a lovely place to be. Do you think there's something significant when it comes to spiritual matters about Portugal?
I guess it's the same everywhere. It's wherever you feel comfortable and you can just carry on doing your business. I think it's a lovely place to be. I think we've found it easier to meet people here. It's been easier to just I don't know, that question sort of stumped me.
Well, I think what I'm getting at is how I think it was Umberto Eco described Tamar as like the belly button, like the not the root chakra. I don't know what the belly button responds to in chakric terms, but he thought it was one of the significant spiritual nexus points of the world. And I think it's absolutely right. We can make somewhere spiritual, can't we? But then there are places that are more or less conducive to the spiritual search, if you like. So the obvious suspects like Glastonbury and Avebury and Stonehenge. There's a kind of more obvious vibe. Not that you can live in those places on top of those monuments, and you might get prosecuted for doing so.
You may just get prosecuted.
Yes, but and life is what you make it. Absolutely. But I just wondered if you were drawn to Portugal, if there was something energetically about the country and the vibe and the culture that was especially conducive.
Yeah, it just feels nicer. It's a difficult thing to put into words. We just felt more at home here.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be somewhere near the beach, and we wanted to be somewhere with a bit more of a community. We were in just slightly outside Fuengirola in Spain, and it was just incredibly busy. And things seem slower here. Yeah. Certainly in the Algarve, they seem a bit slower. Maybe not July and August. We were warned, but it's lovely.
Well, you can always go somewhere else then. You can go further north in Portugal, can't you, for a few weeks and let everybody else have the pleasure that you have all year round.
Yeah, we're planning to do a longer road trip later on this year and see the north.
Be careful. If you have this habit of driving to places and then keeping going and thinking this is nice, that happens in Portugal. We had that for a long time of going to the next place, like, we could live here, and then the next place, we could live here. It's really so tempting, but I guess we're lucky because so much of it is so nice. So in many ways, it doesn't matter that much. Now, you've been in the coaching and personal development a business, as it were, for 30 years, I think. And you've had many millions of downloads with some of your online offerings. 25 million downloads. That's pretty significant. How did you get into all of that in the first place?
Well, I've always had an interest in meditation. I first experienced meditation when I was 15, and it led to a lifelong interest in it. And I was always looking for something to do in a career sense in meditation. But in the early 90s, there was it was still seen as very woo-woo. It's changed now, of course.
It's a great word.
If I had been based in California, maybe it would have been a better or a different story.
Yes, absolutely.
But I trained as a therapist. Yeah, I trained as a therapist in the mid-90s as a clinical hypnotherapist.
Did you?
Yeah, that's my core training, but I quickly get into teaching people stress management and relaxation, and then found there was this link between what I was teaching and my meditation practice. So I gradually moved into doing more of that. I was a therapist. I saw one-to-one clients back in Scotland for 16, 17 years. And then, and I always had recordings, because as a therapist, you give away recordings to help people stop smoking or lose weight or build confidence. And I started off putting these recordings initially, believe it or not, on cassette.
Yeah, I do believe it. How amazing. People would have felt like they got some value as they carried away a cassette from your office, right?
and then went into CDs, and then MP3s. Was selling MP3s on my website in the late 90s. And then in 2007, I started off with a business partner in America, building apps. I was doing the content and he was building them. We actually built the world's first meditation app, January 2008, even before the App Store was available in Europe.
Brilliant. I mean, it is the obvious app, isn't it? If you can have something that plays you, something relaxing on your phone, which is an MP3, the mobile phone is built for that, is it not?
Yes, it is. It's perfect. And that took my business in a completely different direction. So I've been online with apps since 2008. And of course, that then moved into streaming as iTunes moved to Apple Music and people started streaming, and I put recordings on different platforms. I still have my apps, but they're on different platforms now.
Yeah.
So there's been, it's been a bit of a learning curve, and what I've tended to do is just follow the way that technology has shifted in allowing deliverability of these tracks. So I've been very lucky, very fortunate. Lucky that I'm a bit of a tech nerd. Well, no, I'm not, but I do enjoy how technology is changing how we can deliver information.
Yes, and you've kept at the front of that curve, haven't you, by the sound of it?
Trying to, yes.
Yeah. The next one, of course, is AI. And I was saying earlier on this morning, I had this idea a couple of weeks ago to have an AI co-host with me. We could just have some fun with it. Because there's just something wind-upable about AI, isn't there? So I think we're going to have a lot of fun in how we chat with the AI. And, of course, then ask Gumpy, she's going to be called, to answer questions live on air. I mean, that's the next thing, though, isn't it? I mean, how do you see AI? I mean, presumably you're thinking about that already, about how AI is going to work with the delivery of your messages and service to people.
Yeah. I mean, one of my pain points was always writing scripts for meditation. So I have AI write them now, and I then modify them for my own pace, my own wording.
Yes.
So that has become great. And the actual script ends up probably 90% different from what AI does, but it gives me the framework.
Yes.
So it allows a lot of creativity. I think we are going to see some incredible changes in the next probably 24 months with AI. I think it's going to become exponential. And I guess it's down to how we use it personally.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that will be how, you just think about how, going back to mobile phones, how that changed life, and then the internet, and now how AI is going to be using both of those technologies, which have been so, I was going to say devastating, let's say so hugely transformative for our species. Put all those three things together, and we're going to be, I think you're right. There's a foot about to drop, is there not? And of course, these things don't happen in one chunk. We might look back in 24 months' time, might we, think, my God, what just happened? What was that all about? Although, we have had that atmosphere for the last 5 years as well, to be fair. But you see another sort of hockey stick upturn, do you, uptick?
Oh, it's going to be quite something. Yeah, AI is going to change so much for so many people, negatively and positively. I think.
I think you're right.
The only way to deal with it, in my opinion, is just to get immersed in it, because I think you could be left behind if you don't.
Interesting. Well, we're doing our best here to have these sorts of conversations about it, and we will have Maria, who's developing our AI co-host, coming on and keeping us up to date with that. And presumably then we will see on your community, again, you wisely chosen, you keep your finger on the pulse of technology. You've gone along with Sam Ovens and team at school. I think these guys are doing a great job. I think we're going to see a lot more school communities coming as well in this next 24 months. I think they've done an amazing bit of technology. What are you doing over here with Relax, Change and Create?
Well, my apps have always been audio delivery only. And I've always wanted to offer live meditations. I was, until maybe 3 years ago, I was a pretty constant poster on social media. But I pulled out of social media quite a while ago, just because I know how it can have such a negative influence. But I've always been looking for a platform that allows me to build up more of a community.
Yes.
And I had spent, as my wife will agree with, I spent the last year looking and looking and looking, and nothing ticked the boxes. And then suddenly school came along. And I thought, okay, this is exactly what I need to build a community. And I think this is going to be very important as AI starts producing a huge amount of substandard content.
Yes.
Which there is. And
yeah,
I
absolutely.
think in speaking to an awful lot of people who are very, very clued up in this world, they're saying that the one thing that will help with any business is creating some form of community.
Yeah.
And so school ticked a lot of the boxes for that. So we started, I guess, a couple of months ago, and we are slowly building it out, thinking about, I see you've posted the membership there. I think we're going to pull that because we need to find a way to monetize it. But in all honesty, I haven't found that little nugget yet of how to monetize it. At the moment, it's a completely free platform with thoughts of the day and two live meditations a week.
Great. Well, I was just playing one of them. There were two of you on the screen for a moment, and there you were doing the most recent live meditation. And if people want to sign up, they can do that on the link that's on the screen. What an interesting way of putting it. That hadn't occurred to me, actually. But you're absolutely right with the AI slop, I think it's referred to as. I mean, there is just going to be, we won't know what's real and not real. I mean, I was watching, I played a video to my wife, Louisa, and Mrs. M, and I said, I think what this woman's saying is quite interesting. And I was listening to the message, and it was a good message in the way that I'd discovered Neville Goddard last year. But all of that wasn't him. It was just all these AI entrepreneurs, let's call them, taking, they look at the internet, don't they? They look at the web and they see things that are quite high value in a certain niche, then re-record and represent it using the name of that person, but add a little bit like, AI or some reference that you barely notice. And then you might think you're listening. And I thought I was listening because I'd never heard her before. So I wasn't able to compare my existing idea of what she should sound like with what I was hearing. What I was hearing, the content was great. It was really interesting about, what's going to happen to humanity in the next little while. And then when I played it to Mrs. M, she said, that's not even her. And I looked at the comments and people say, yes, I've reported this isn't even that woman. And that's what we're up against. And so it is really important, I think, to have these community platforms like school where you can get a sense that you're actually connecting with the real human being if they're still alive.
Yeah, with all the faults and foibles that we all have. And it's very interesting. And during COVID, when I was back in Scotland, I was doing 3 or 4 live meditations a day. Like so many of us, we had so much time in our hands.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and it built up a nice community, but it was fragmented across social media. So this is the school community is a lovely way of bringing people together.
Yeah, agreed. Well, it's been a delight to find you and join yours. And if not for it, we wouldn't be talking like this. Maybe you'll come back and see us again. Just as a final, sort of in conclusion this morning, you did describe what you used to do as woo-woo, in the 90s, what you were talking about. What didn't have such a mainstream audience, did it? And now, with the advent of mindfulness, we are in very different times. And you could argue as well that there's a hunger for what you're providing, Andrew, in the world. How would you like to see that panning out in these next 24 months or years for humanity? What's next? Where's that trajectory going, do you think?
Well, it looks like what I call eyes closed world, which is meditation and relaxation and coping skills and stress management and mindfulness, shows no signs of slowing down.
Right.
it is a growing business. I've seen that myself. The moving into apps with the release of apps like Headspace and Calm and Insight Timer, which introduced these amazing techniques to a huge audience, has opened up this whole world. It's one of the things that I always say is that it is change that causes stress in people. Change geographically, politically, economically, financially, physically, mentally. And we are about to enter a period of time where the speed of change is rapidly increasing, absolutely rapidly increasing. And I think more and more people are going to be looking for something that gives them a little bit more control over how they feel. Instead of reacting to the outside world and taking that negativity on board, we can actually learn how to change how we feel about things.
Yes.
We can really learn to ground ourselves and take some time to realize that when we change our view about the world, we change how we feel about it.
Yes.
And sometimes we just need to step back and take the time to do that. And I think once people get a grasp of these techniques, meditation and mindfulness, and to a greater degree, how to actually relax, which is one of the core things that I teach.
Yes.
Because so many people don't know how to relax. Once people get an idea of that and they realize that they're much more in control of how they feel and how it helps them sleep and how it helps them deal with negative thoughts, then hopefully we will see some sort of antidote to this quick pace of change that's happening all around us.
Well said. Well said. And with a calm, soothing, beautifully paced Scottish voice as well. That's such a balm. Do people give you that feedback about your recordings?
Yes.
Yes.
It is a genetic thing, having a south west of Scotland accent, but I am
yes.
I have had many years of developing the way of speaking for relaxation and meditation and mindfulness. Yeah. I have had many positive and some negative comments about it.
Right.
There was one that I did. There was, because I do children's relaxations, and there was someone who had sent some feedback, and had their kid had said, "Mummy, can we put on Shrek again today?" And I thought, okay, I'll take that.
Brilliant.
So
excellent. Well, this is another possible avenue.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, maybe that's what AI could do with me. I could do an AI video of Shrek and
mindfulness
do
of
that.
Shrek. Brilliant, Andrew. Lovely to meet you, and thanks for being
too,
such
Carol.
a sport. I just sent you a message. Do you want to be on the show? Yep. See you there. That's how we like to roll. Thank you to the introduction to this idea. Hashtag eyes closed world. What a lovely way of putting it. I've never heard of that before, and I've dabbled in this world for quite a long time. I think that's a lovely way of putting it.
That's that's a good hashtag. Maybe I should use that.
Well, it's yours. It's your takeaway this morning, all right? It's your goodie bag from the Good Morning Portugal show. So I hope to see you again on the show. That's how you can join free Andrew's community on school. Thanks, mate. All the best to you.
Cheers, Carl. Have a great day.
See ya. Ciao. There he goes. There goes Andrew. Mummy, can we have Shrek on again? Let's keep that applause going and have a chat with Melbeing and Wellbeing. It's a bit of a theme this morning, Mel. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay today?
Yes. You look you're very domesticated this morning. It's not. It's like,
I'm
what's
at
going
home.
on? She's in a house. What's happening
I'm
here?
in the house. I locked the dogs into a corner and thought I'd take a risk at home. Having said that, a very important delivery is due in today, And you know how you normally wait until 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Chances are it'll turn up in the next 15 minutes, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
let's hope so.
We'll just run with that.
Yeah. Let's take advantage of that. Let's send the vibes out. You're far too busy to receive a parcel now, and lo and behold, they'll knock on the door in just a moment. Brilliant, good to see you, and yeah, unusual to see you not standing in a field. And we have heard about your home renovation. It looks really smart, and like you've come a long way since we spoke to you months ago. And I think you were having a kitchen renovation. Let's check in with you. What's going on with the kitchen, with the land, and with citizenship? Quite a lot to talk about this morning.
Yeah, and I just had to smile too about the complete contrast between the nice, relaxing voice of your previous guest, and now you've got me.
You got an Aussie accent. Sorry, that clip I sent you yesterday. Sorry if that was a bit rude, but that was very Aussie,
good.
wasn't it? Yeah. Yes, it is quite a contrast. Although I imagine a few people did go from Scotland to Australia, so there is that influence in the accent somewhere.
Well, I suppose I was thinking more of the calmness of the
Yes.
human being,
Yes.
and the chill vibe, and that's generally not me.
Okay. Well, we call your feature Melbeing. It's not a million miles away in my mind, and let's start with the land, if we may, and that whole business of simply living and being out there on the land. How is that going?
Well, it's raining a lot.
Yes.
I did get given a kind friend, neighbour in another town, a batch of little avocado plants. So
Nice.
I popped them in the ground. So that's great. But at the moment, the road is too muddy for me to drive down.
Is it?
So I have to park about 500 metres away for several months of the year and walk the last part in my wellies. So that's a bit of a pain. So there's not a great deal I can do. Having said that, I've finished the postle, the well. I have to try and get down there this week in between rain batches and set up the hosing, because I have to pump water from the well into deposits that I've got up nearer to where my gardens are. So I have to try and set that hosing up and get the pump going. I have my pump, and actually what I'm waiting for this morning is a generator.
Oh,
so
wow.
My generator is getting delivered today, so that then I can pump the water out of the well into these deposits. But I simply don't have enough water. I need more deposits. Yeah.
So that's not exactly something the Amazon can leave under a bush, is it? A generator. What's a quick buyer's guide to a generator then, if people want one of those things? Is this diesel driven?
It's petrol driven, yeah. It's petrol driven, and you can actually. So what I'm very excited about, I've been looking for generators for a few years and just kept running around in circles, because as you probably realise, trying to buy something online, well, when you go into the stores, most of the stores don't have a full range. And so when you then go and try and order online, this one will tell you what wattages it runs at, or whatever it is, how many kilowatts or watts, 1,000 watts or whatever it is. You can see my technical knowledge here. And the other one will tell you the weight, and the other one will tell you this, but none of them will tell you the whole lot. So it's really hard to get a comparison. But what's come out since then is these smaller ones that are literally, you can just carry with a carry handle. So for me, one of the big issues is weight, because I can't store it down there. I don't have any good lockable facilities. So I have to bring it home, and I obviously don't need a 60, 70 kilo generator to
Right.
myself. So this one I've got coming, I think, is a little bit heavier. Some are 20 kilos. I've got a 23 kilo one, and it's 3,000 watts oomph, which is very good. And it has you can just plug the electricity and everything straight into it. It's got a carry handle. So it's kind of like those power banks now, but with much more oomph about it, and a space for petrol. So this one obviously doesn't have a huge receptacle for petrol, because it's able to be carried. But all I'm generally doing with it is running, a pump for 15 minutes.
And it'll do that.
It'll do that. Most of my other equipment down there is petrol driven anyway, so I don't, it's a backup generator. I've also got a power bank as well for my house, so if the power went out here, it's not like I need a big petrol receptacle for my house to run the generator for hours because I can charge up my power bank and with it very quickly and then run that all day. So it gives me the option for both.
Very
So
interesting. Yeah, okay. So
yeah.
they are becoming easier to buy, more affordable, and more compact. That's good to know, and so it's like getting in, just like the power banks, it's getting into the hands of the sort of everyday consumer, isn't it, rather than a specialist item.
And we need it. I think that you know, I'm from we've had this Apagao last year.
Yeah.
But where I'm from in Australia, we used to have power blackouts all of the time. You know,
Yeah.
you'd have big thunderstorms and the power would all go out. We're pretty used to having backup torches, batteries, emergency kits on
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
And so it really surprised me here that people don't have. And while I've never really stored a generator in my house before, it's very handy. You know, it can be really handy. So
We
I
have
think
outrage instead. When there's an outage, we're just outraged that the supplier's broken down. But yes, we were educated by that situation last year. And one more thing about the land before we talk about how your experience with the builders and the kitchen and citizenship. I had a thought about this. You know, when I moved to Portugal, I thought we were going to be more sort of rural and out in the middle of nowhere, and it was to be this. I'm sort of rolling this up with reframing all this rain and how cold it is at the moment. And the idea of being out on the land was to have a more ready, real experience of nature and the rhythms of the year. And I flipping got that. Like the rain and cold is part of the year, and I'm complaining about it when actually that's what I thought I wanted. Maybe I did, maybe I made it happen by thinking about it so much. Say, yeah, like some terrible sort of city hippie. I want to be in tune with nature, man. I want to feel the changing seasons. But actually, what I realize is I probably don't, and I want to live in spring and summer for most of the year. Just kind of be careful what you wish for, right? If you do get land and you do say you want to experience the seasons, you get a muddy track sometimes, don't you? And weeks of rain where you can't do anything. That is the reality, isn't it, of the outdoors?
yeah, and I get a little bit triggered. Sometimes I can.
Sorry. Right.
I get a little triggered, as you know, about this 300 days of sunshine,
Yes.
because I've always lived in places where in Portugal, where I've had an apartment, and now my house doesn't have a yard, so I'm having to walk my very active dogs 3 times a day, and I will get wet 8 to 9 months of the year. And when I hear 300 days of sunshine, I'm just going, you must not go outside. And I think when you're inside, you don't realize that it's raining outside, but literally every day. So my dog walk becomes I go out, we all get wet, we come back, I've got to bring them inside, they shake. Then I have to towel dry them, blow dry them. Then I have to mop all the floors and the walls where they've shook mud all over the place. And so this, a 45-minute walk turns into an hour and a half. And then I'm trying to dry my clothes off to go out and do it all again in about 4 hours' time. So
Yep.
I'm very aware of how much rain there is.
You're in touch with nature. You're in touch with
I'm
nature.
in touch with nature. And yes, yesterday we went, oh, great. And it was funny. I don't know if anybody else's weather apps are doing bizarre things, but I normally use AccuWeather, because weather apps are notoriously bad, but at least they have a minute cast system where it tells you it's about to rain in half an hour, and it's normally correct. And the last few days, it's telling me it's perfectly fine while I'm watching the rain outside. It's set to my town, it's set to my location. And yesterday it said it was going to be, sunny all afternoon. I took the dogs down to the land to walk to the land. So obviously everything's really muddy and crazy. And I've literally got a photo of me sitting in the car with it pouring with rain, looking at the app saying, apparently it's not going to rain for the next 2 hours.
Even the weather. It's 2026 and even the weather is gaslighting everybody.
Well, and especially when it's in the moment. Like, I can understand they can't forecast for an hour's time. I don't understand why, but yes. But in the moment, it's telling me it's not raining. And I'm going, yes, it is. Yes,
Amazing.
it's raining.
Amazing. Yeah.
I'm looking out the window. So yes, I think too, it all comes down to your expectation, and that's probably why I get a little bit triggered over the whole discussion of 300 days of sunshine, because people then come here with an expectation that they're going to be warm and dry and whatever, and they're not.
Yep.
And if people are happy to come in the rain and the cold and accept that, then they know what they're coming for, and so be it. But that's why I get frustrated with it.
Fair enough. But if it's fair to say, if we wanted to be in touch with nature, it doesn't always come gift wrapped and warm, dry, and beautiful, does it? That was a realization I had yesterday, which made me chuckle a little bit. None of the apps are as good as Dark Sky used to be until Apple bought it and made it terrible. I thought you were going to give us some help on a weather app there. Bondia Malta says, Andeiro had a good day at Ericeira yesterday. Market not. Oh, isn't that Espinho though you're talking about? Not as huge as anticipated. The rest look the same as we last visited 15 years ago. Literally, some things don't change. Meeting the family for a birthday lunch for my beautiful wife. Andeiro, parabéns, and have a lovely lunchtime today. Got a great. I think you were responded to this earlier on, Mel. Sarah's comment, I starred up. Sorry to hide you behind it for just a moment. Bondi, a small language win. This is a really important moment. We love to celebrate these. Got through a whole visit to Decathlon. Were you buying thermals? None of my business. Without anyone speaking English to me. Asked for help finding stuff, negotiated space in the crowded aisle, etc. Didn't get outed. Isn't that a lovely moment where you get away with it? That no one suspects, or even if they do, they don't break your cover for you. So that's excellent. Well done on that, Sarah. Did the Portuguese good life in the countryside for 20 years, now doing the easy life. Yeah, there you go. There's somebody who had enough of being in touch with nature by the sound of it. How has it gone with these? We did hear it was a little bit difficult with the builders, getting the kitchen, certain things that you were used to, you couldn't get done here. Did you get any biscuit joints in the end? That's not the same as joint biscuits for some of you.
No, we didn't get biscuit joints, but I have not got the big metal strip in the middle of the kitchen bench. They have put it together,
yeah.
And I'm just praying a lot because I don't know what they did because I wasn't here the day they did it. So it's still not 100% finished.
Right.
But that's partially my fault. Well, partially because I'm waiting on some pieces to come, which are due this week. But also because after it had been a long summer of trying to fix this house.
Yeah.
And I had planned to paint the walls behind me. Desperately needed paint. They've been redone. They've had the massa put over it, but they need painting.
The pasta.
Massa. It's like the plaster.
Okay.
But they need painting. But I still have water coming in. So like one of the key differences I don't know what it's like in the UK. If you ring someone in Australia and say, my roof's leaking, it's like emergency, we need to fix this straight away. Here they come and say, yes, we'll have to wait till summer to fix that.
Yes.
So there's no use me painting because it'll just peel off. So I had planned to try and paint inside while winter was happening, but I can't because there's water leaking into a number of places. Not huge pouring water leaks, but water coming in. So that will just undermine the paint. So I just have to sit out winter, really.
Yes, that's the way we roll here, isn't it? Calma, tranquilo. We'll sort that out when the weather gets better. Don't want to get wet sorting out rain coming through your building, do you? Excellent. Well done. I think you are changing slightly and yielding to the ways of this culture, perhaps to a point. Maybe citizenship is that line, Mel. How's it going with that? And there's this terrible situation that Cindy is in the middle of, which I think is chastening quite a few people and their feelings about how and how they go about being in Portugal and assuring their security. What do you make of that? And how's that process going for you?
Yeah, just on Cindy, which I've been watching her channel and I was pretty devastated for her because, she's been here since 2020, bought a farm. She earns, income doing stuff. She's flying around different places to run workshops. So, I've always been a little bit concerned that if you're not I'm not a retiree and I don't have good, steady, passive income from a retirement income, that when those residency renewals come up, and one of the things that people kept saying is, oh, don't worry, you've got permanent residency. And I said, I don't want to be stressed every moment that they could kick me out because of an issue with income or some issue. And this has highlighted it for me big time. I mean, this is a woman who does have income. From what I can see, she's ticked every box. And it appears that they've done an administrative error. They asked her for some more information. She uploaded it, but she's not sure because they haven't given her a reason. They just told her she's got 20 days to get out.
Yeah.
And so she's got a farm she's got to sell up. and leave.
So just to clarify on that, then she doesn't know. That's the situation we're in. She's just got this sort of very
She doesn't know why.
bureaucratic slap in the face, which some Portuguese people, I suspect, would say, "Oh, don't worry about that. That's just what they do. You put an appeal in." But when you don't know what to do and you're a foreigner and you get a 20-day notice, that's pretty devastating, isn't it? I mean, if you haven't grown up with a disdain
she's
for
had to pay for a lawyer, which not everybody has the resources to do.
Yep.
So now she's had to engage a lawyer. They have put an appeal in.
Yep.
But the lawyer doesn't even know, from what I can see, and I could be wrong, that nobody knows what she did wrong. All she suspects is that she lodged the paperwork and they haven't connected it. They haven't actually put it in to the thing, and it was just more police checks or something like that from different countries. And so, she's done everything right. So she said, look, I have to sell anyway. Like,
well, because she can't live with that uncertainty.
And so because she's got to be out in 20 days, so even if she might be able to go out of the country and come back, she's selling her animals. Like she said, even if I can't sell my farm, I don't want to fire sale the farm just because I've got to go. And financially, she might be okay to try and set up with her kids or some way while she's waiting for a farm to sell. But she has to sell all her animals. And that was part of her income. And obviously her pets, all the pigs and the sheep and the everything. She's having to sell them all. They're right now, she's saying, please come and buy them, take them, whatever.
Unbelievable. So no way to run migration, is it? And, what could easily happen with this is, it was just an administrative error. That was our mistake.
Maybe, and chances are she won't find out for a year or 2 years.
In the meantime, you have to live with that. Yeah.
And then so for me, I lodged in July. I have had a correspondence. And I said to you, it was kind of funny because they sent me a correspondence saying there was a problem. It was just something the way my lawyer had actually signed something that they were unhappy with. So she fixed that. I got an email that said, okay, that error's been rectified. We're checking it. Then I got an email saying, yes, that's concluded. That's all good. Then the next day I got a message that said, your application processing for citizenship is finalizado. And I went,
yoo-hoo,
it's finished?
Yes.
It's finished? Like, what? And I'm dancing around the house, and then it doesn't tell me whether it said yes or no. So, and then finally got hold of the lawyer the next day for her to say, no, it just meant stage 1 of 6 is finished. But they didn't put stage 1 in there. They just said finished. So I've still got 5 stages to go. So for me, just how does that affect me? Obviously, that's stressful. I'm fully aware, and I knew all along it was a 3 to 4 year process. But I've got to go, I need to earn income. I need to increase my income. And there's some businesses I'm interested to try and start and run. And then I'm saying, well, do I invest money here? Like, until I know for sure, like, I don't want to get stuck like Cindy is, where, if I go and buy a shop front or a business of some sort, that's hard because I don't really want to work online. 20 days notice, I've got to pack up and go. And it means that I use up anything to relocate into a different country. And that's the big thing. Where the heck do I go? I can't afford to go back to Australia. Wow. So where do I go? And I have to suddenly pop up and go, is there an Asian nation or a South American, which may have less cost to me, and go hook, line and sinker with minimal funds and pray that it's the right country for me on quick notice?
Yes.
It's a very uncertain feeling.
Isn't it just? And you have, you put it into a very particular perspective by talking about what Cindy's going through and why citizenship is so important to you. That's why we went full citizenship. We have an application number, on just another 3 to 6 months for a tracking number. Whichever way you cut this, there's waiting and potential anxiety involved. And that's why you need Andrew Johnson, everybody who was on before. He didn't ask me to say that. We're in a similar situation with IAM. We're under reunification, not much different to many experiences, it seems. Also seems to depend who's sitting in front of the computer. Keep on them. And there are enough of us. I mean, I think solidarity is very important, isn't it? To receive that news as an individual is devastating. But to get a perspective that, there are loads of people going through this, which doesn't make it any better, but there's a power in the people, I think, who are all going through this to and it was about time we had some sort of union of foreigners who just want to be told one way or another in an efficient and timely manner. Gilda was talking about this. She's absolutely disgusted with IMRA at the moment, having been a front line, talking to somebody in an office who's just breaking the law in front of her face. This is going on, and perhaps it's time to step up as foreigners. And we've got other things to do. We didn't come here to do that, but it maybe is what we have to do.
And again, while I don't want to, I'm not trying to play victim. I'm just pointing out that for some people, and it gets a little dismissive, and I would ask people listening not to be so dismissive. If you are comfortably well off, a retiree, especially as a couple, who are going, oh, well, this is a pain. If this doesn't work out, I'm going to be so disappointed. I'll have to go back to the UK or America or wherever you're from. As opposed to, we're talking about women in their late 50s and 60s and 70s who are one of the largest demographics of homeless people in the world in Western countries right now, who do not have enough pension money, who do not have enough income, who are on their own and suddenly facing, where the hell am I going to live with no support network?
Yeah,
it's really a much different situation. As I say, I'm not trying to put a victim mentality on, I'm just trying to say I get a little frustrated with the flippancy of, well, it'll be a shame, but I'm sure something else will pop up. And you're going, hang on, my only son is here. Everything I've invested now into this country, and I've used up my funds. I'm really pushed to move anywhere else now.
Yeah.
This is actually a very stressful situation. And I'm not the only one. I cannot tell you how many women are living off grid, are living in vans, in non-heated little shacks in the country.
In Portugal?
In Portugal.
Right.
Hundreds and hundreds. If you look at those communities in Alentejo, but there's a lot of these women because they've got nowhere else to go.
Yes.
And they might say, and I'm not saying they're completely not doing it from choice financially or whatever, but because they want to be part of communities, but there's also plenty living outside of these communities that have come from North Europe, whatever, because the times have changed in terms of finances for women.
Yeah.
But we were caught before the change.
Yeah.
So we don't have the pension funds. We don't have the savings. Excuse me. And so suddenly we're here going, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's puts a whole different layer. So I only say that just to say, if your situation is that you're financially comfortable and in a position where you're going, it's okay, well, I'll just have to look at other options then. What other country can we do?
And cheer up, love. It could be worse.
It could be worse. You can just go back home. Oh, we can't. So, just have a thought that there's a lot of people, and I presume potentially there's a lot of men as well. I just can't speak
you make
for
a
them.
very good point, Mel. I think there are so many more than anyone would realise. And this is what might be uncovered. I think there are people who've been living in Portugal for 20, 30 years who've never registered. And this is a tip of an iceberg that if it ever sort of is exposed, it's going to be really strange and odd. And it's going to be like poking a wasp nest, isn't it? And at the moment, there are a few sort of notable examples because that's how it seems to work. But if we really get into the true scale of this, it's going to become a completely unworkable, weird situation, isn't it? And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's where we're headed. I don't know, but we should stick together as much as is possible and use the power of our numbers, I would say, and get the different nationalities together, get the foreigners together, and ask for some sort of humane treatment with this at the very least. And here are some.
And talk to our locals. Integrate with the locals. I was just going to say, integrate with our locals. Talk to our locals. Get oranges. Share oranges. So that they understand, because obviously there's a lot of media rhetoric that's anti-immigrants.
Yeah.
And the best way that we can break that down with our locals to get a little bit of help and support and empathy from our neighbours is to try and speak the language, talk to them.
Yes,
and just be saying, no, this isn't, I've had so many people saying, oh, immigrants come here because they can get Social Security straight away. I went, well, I was told I couldn't get it for 15 years. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't even access it. So I don't know why. And people don't realise that. Oh, no one's paying tax here. I'm paying tax here.
You've been rumbled, Mel, coming here and taking all the benefits.
Exactly. So the more we can talk to those people, then we can help break down those stereotypes that.
Absolutely, yeah, and get a little bit more cultural understanding, because I think a lot of Portuguese people, like, they will say, and it's a bit like you were talking about, don't worry about it, but that is definitely a Portuguese thing. Is I think the 20-day notice for a Portuguese person, or that level of government message, isn't taken quite as seriously as we would, because we're much more vulnerable and precarious, aren't we? And we're not used to. We didn't grow up with that, so that might be calming to know a few Portuguese people.
And we don't have 12 family members around to dive in.
Or 10
Oh,
houses.
it's okay. We'll go and stay with such and such until we sort this out.
Absolutely. But social capital, the point you make is really important. To integrate and to make yourself known locally for all sorts of very good reasons. Mel, thank you very much. You've run over a bit this morning, but some very important things that we were talking about. Thank you for your update this month, and all the very best to you. I hope you get to stage 2 soon. You get another finalizado 2 of 6 perhaps. All the best to you. Thank you very much indeed. I'm off to interview. I'm off to do the Portugal resident interview. Very interesting man who's been in the Algarve real estate industry for decades, longer than probably anybody, and that's where I shall start my questions, with how things have changed in the last 40 years. And my goodness, I don't suppose he would expect we would have had a conversation of the kind we've just had when he first came to Portugal. Thanks, Mel. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Ciao, ciao, and bye for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts.